Support for Another Round comes from August, a new kind of consulting company that helps organizations realize their potential to make a meaningful dent in the world. Interested in doing this work? Drop them a line today at www.aug.co/anotherround. That's aug.co/anotherround. Hi, everyone. I'm Heben.
I'm Tracy.
And welcome to Another Round with Heben and Tracy.
Yay. Let's get through the opening music really fast so we can get to the interview. I'm very excited.
Oh, my God.
Can't wait.
Why are you so excited, Tracy?
Because we are interviewing our best friend who doesn't know that he's our best friend yet, Mr. Lin Manuel Miranda. Can't believe it.
This is true. You may know him from Hamilton.
Perhaps.
The thing everyone is talking about.
The thing that all of your friends won't shut the fuck up about.
The thing, if you have not seen, you hate us for. Because we talk about it all the time. We're really excited.
Yes, this
is actually happening.
He's so fun and funny and nice. And he'd be tweeting and talking to people.
I know.
To talk to us. For people who have been living on the moon, Heben, what is Hamilton?
It is a musical about Alexander Hamilton with rapping, which sounds horrible, but is so beautifully executed.
So fantastic.
First, you're just like, what's happening? And then you're like, why am I crying? It's moving. Emotional roller coaster in the best way. But before we talk to Lin Manuel and get our whole lives changed, I've been thinking about something and I want to talk to you guys about it.
Oh man, what's up?
So I've been thinking a lot about how kind of crazy this election cycle has been. Remember when Ben Carson said he knifed someone in a Popeyes organization? That was weird. The existence. I will never forget. He said Popeyes organization. You know that fool has never been in a Popeyes. Anyways, I was also thinking about Jeb Bush. Do you remember when he randomly had turtles in his pocket?
Sorry, what?
They're not real turtles.
Oh, okay. That makes
little
cool.
So anyways, he was at this campaign stop at a restaurant, like, I'm humble with the people, blah, blah, blah. And he gives this kid a turtle and he says, slow and steady wins the race.
He was just walking around with a pocket full of turtles.
So first of all, Jeb, that is not how you run a campaign. Slow and steady does not win the race. And he is out of the campaign. A reporter had the same question you did. Do you just walk around with turtles? So he reaches.
What was his answer?
He reaches into his pocket and he's like, yep. I have a little baby Jesus and 3 turtles.
Why do you have a turtle in your pocket?
I give them out to kids.
You just have like a pocket full of turtles?
Slow, steady progress. That's what that means.
Are you serious?
I got the little baby Jesus, got my rosary beads, and I got 3 turtles.
Fun fact.
What's going on in Jeb Bush's pockets? Anyways, Jeb is a very interesting figure. And I feel like in honor of Lin Manuel, I've been thinking a lot about people who deserve a musical.
You think Jeb Bush deserves a Lin Manuel-esque musical?
I do. I'm very fascinated by white men who have something handed to them who utterly fuck it up. Let's do a Jeb musical.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to present to you, for some reason, Jeb! An uncomfortable musical about an awkward man and his quest for the American presidency.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're not familiar, all of his campaign materials very actively sought to erase his very familiar name. So he put an exclamation point after every Jeb. And my favorite thing that Stephen Colbert has done all campaign season is he pronounces the exclamation point every time he says his name. Jeb! He's the least excited man. Why would you put an exclamation point?
Well, if you're not excited and who else needs an exclamation point more?
You know what? You're right. All right.
You know?
This is Jeb, an uncomfortable musical.
Starring Stephen Colbert as the embattled John Ellis Jeb Bush. Jeb is a new age rap opera about a man and his very questionable decisions.
You know, his real name is not Jeb. He's choosing to go by that name. Just go with John Ellis.
Opposite Jeb is his political nemesis, Donald Trump, played by Tommy Tiny Lister, known also as Debo from the movie Friday.
What?
And occasionally in Jeb's corner is Harry Connick Jr. in the role that he was born to play, the flamboyant Texan and former President George W. Bush, who livens up the stage with the flashy song, What Did I Do?, as he reminisces about all the things he fucked up while in office.
What did I do?
Bum, 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 bum,
What
bum,
did
bum,
I
bum.
do?
The true star of the play, though, is the legendary Leon, who gives a rousing performance as the exclamation point that swoops in and tries to save the day in Jeb's failing campaign. Will he do it? No, he won't. The track list includes songs such as Jeb, Please Clap.
Oh,
Yo, that moment, can we just take a pause?
that was honestly so
it
painful to
happened
watch.
at a rally of his?
At his own rally.
How you have a pep
He would
rally
say
for
a point. You
yourself?
know how like politicians do that inflection where they rise up to the point so
and
you can
we
clap?
will beat the terrorists.
Yes.
But he was
He
like,
didn't have that rise, first of all. And then he's just like, I made a point, guys. Please clap.
and he looked so defeated, like his shoulders just sunk, and he was just like, please clap.
You know, he did look like Eeyore a little bit.
Oh, thanks for noticing me.
Oh, Jesus. This got sad.
Other songs include my personal favorite, Okayest of Moms and Most Tolerable of Brothers. Can we talk briefly about how his mom is always talking so bad about him?
Yo, his mom plays him all
Why
the
she
time.
always hit him with the roast hand like that?
So he released this ad and he goes, the best news of the day was that my mom finally said I was her favorite. To which she says, oh, no, I didn't. She said, laughing. You mean of all the children? Yeah, Bush deadpanned. No, she quipped. Cold-hearted.
There's a stirring track, History Has Its Eyes on Your Entire Family. Because ain't none of y'all about shit. And then the final song is the Please Clap reprise.
Mom's playing everyone. The best part was when it was finally over, raves the New York Times. This play, much like Jeb's campaign, was completely unnecessary, says Playbill magazine.
Bless your heart, says Barbara Bush.
And do you have a Bush impression?
No.
I mean, I don't, but it was cool. I don't know what that was. I tried. You know what? It was cool.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to theaters February 73rd, Jeb, an uncomfortable musical. You think Lin will produce this for us?
No.
What?
He's going to be like, work on this for 6 years and then get back to me. And then we're going to be like, you right, sir. We got some work to do.
I am going to choose to stay positive. He's waiting for us in the video room at BuzzFeed headquarters. Let's ask him ourselves.
I mean, no, but let's go. Let's go talk to him. He had nothing to do with this. Did not approve any of these ideas.
Yet.
Okay.
Hasn't approved yet.
We're choosing to be hopeful. Let's go talk to him.
Let's have another round tonight.
Let's have another round tonight.
Let's have another round tonight.
Raise a glass to freedom. Something they can never take away.
Yes,
No matter what they tell you.
Let's have another round tonight.
Raise a glass to the three of us.
Tomorrow there'll be more of us. It doesn't rhyme with three.
That was beautiful, y'all.
Also, I'm wearing shoes. I don't usually do this for everybody.
Yeah, usually in the studio we're lounging.
I'll take my shoes off if you want to take your shoes off. We'll have a better conversation. Guarantee you.
I'm not against that.
We have
It's
a
done.
rug.
I'm done.
You know what?
I don't know if people want that for my feet, but I'm gonna let y'all rock.
We wanted this guy on the show because he is like the kind of weird and creative that makes brilliant things. He has been nominated for and won Tony Awards for his plays In the Heights and Bring It On, respectively. He'll probably win between 7,000 and 10,000 Tonys for his
I believe
newest
that many
play.
exist.
That's how many
Yeah, I
are
mean,
on
the
offer.
first play Hamilton, which is the rappity rap play about
Hippity hopping.
Our founding father, Alexander Hamilton. The MacArthur people have called him a genius, which brings our genius guests up to 2. We interviewed Ta-Nehisi Coates as well.
But we're like not counting ourselves.
Oh, right.
That's right.
Right.
Double it.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the Another Round studio, Lin Manuel Miranda.
Yo!
Having me.
Welcome.
Long time
hyped
fan,
you're here.
first time caller.
Stop! Thank you for putting a reference to our show and your show, Hamilton, Another Round.
Let's have another round tonight. Yes, you're welcome.
So your show is kind of an incredibly rare thing in pop culture. And it's kind of changed the pop culture landscape. I never thought in my life that I would see like people really, really excited about a hip hop history
It's crazy.
musical.
It's crazy.
What were some of the things pop culture wise for you growing up that were important to you?
Well, the last time something like this happened with musical theater, which was Rent. I mean, I got to see Rent from the last row of the Nederlanders Theater for my 17th birthday. And I loved musicals, but it was like, you know, when you're a teenager, everything is compartmentalized. Like I spoke Spanish at home. I spoke English at school. I spoke musical to my musical friends. I spoke hip hop to my hip hop friends, and like never let anything meet in the middle really.
Yeah.
And Rent was huge. It was like a totally diverse cast. It took place in the present, which doesn't sound like a big deal, but think about how many musicals take place in the present. I mean, even Chorus Line was like a period piece by the time I saw it when I was a teenager. And so I was just like, oh, you're allowed to write musicals about now. And that, I think, is what gave me permission tacitly to be like, oh, you're allowed to write musicals about whatever you want. And they can be about your life experience and they can be about the things you know. They're not all like cats and phantoms and like shit in the past. And so that was a big one for me. But then, you know, it's the same stuff as everybody else. You know, I danced and made everyone watch me memorize the Thriller dance and the beat dance. And my last day of high school, actually, I was on the step team at Hunter.
My God. First of all, I can't believe you guys had a step team at Hunter.
Yep, all 6 of us have come at Hunter.
Go off.
And we made a
extra
step
loud
team.
to make up
But
for the
my
other
last day of high school, I did not spend in class. It was an arts day, which was when there would like be assembly and you would all have to go see like some students performing. And we did the Janet Jackson If Dance video.
Oh my God.
And I was Omar.
Oh my God.
Do you remember Omar from
Oh
the
my
If
God.
video?
Yes.
I was the Omar with my head getting twirled. And the girl pushing my head was Erelon, who would grow up to be Erelon on Real World Vegas, who I've known since first grade.
Oh my gosh. Okay, this is not related to absolutely anything, but one of my dreams. Do you remember the
God.
fight that Ireland and Alton had in that hotel room in Vegas?
I know all about it.
That is
But you
my
know what? Actually,
dream.
I didn't. Can I tell you? I'm the only one who hasn't seen that season because I know Erelon and I didn't want to watch it. Because
okay.
I know Gabe,
Yeah.
who was her boyfriend that she broke up with on the show. Like they were high school sweethearts all
close to
through school.
home.
So I was like, I can't watch it.
Oh my gosh. That's amazing. Okay, we took a big, huge
leap.
detour.
But anyway.
When did you first, the very, very first time you saw yourself and felt represented in pop culture, what was it?
Wow, that's a fantastic question. It's so scarce as a kid that like the examples are insane. Like I'm thinking of
Oh gosh.
the Chihuahua and Oliver and Company voiced by Cheech Marin. If this is torture, chain me to the wall. I was like, oh, that guy sounds like my uncle. Like, that Chihuahua, that's us. That's how bad the 80s were when it comes to Latino. I mean, La Bamba was like our movie. That was the big shit for us. I'm trying to think what else, but like literally the first thing that came to mind was a fucking cartoon Chihuahua. You guys.
That is it's beautiful and also very sad.
Yeah.
It is.
The one that was a big deal for me also was John Leguizamo when he started doing his one-man shows. Like I remember taping Mambo Mouth and taping Spickle-Rama. I memorized Spickle-Rama off my VHS cassette, and like this was a guy who was just like he played all the parts and he just wrote his own show where he got to play all these parts, and that was a huge deal.
Yeah. This is so interesting. Let's keep on this path down memory lane.
Okay.
When did you realize that whiteness was a thing, or when did you realize that you were not white?
Oh, so early. I mean, again, so I went to Hunter, which is this like magnet school. It's a public school, but it's a school for nerds. Like you have to pass tests to get in. And I got in kindergarten. So I went from a nursery school in the 150s to literally my name changing. Like I went from Lin Manuel to Lin because I couldn't take people mangling Lin Manuel. I was just call me Lin. That's easier. So I like the switching of like Spanish to English and English to Spanish and slang changing happened when I was really young. And in retrospect, I'm grateful for it because I can kind of hang wherever. But yeah, that's probably where. I mean, it was literally just teachers and students who couldn't pronounce my name.
Yeah, we learned to code switch so early.
Yeah, absolutely.
So early.
Yeah.
I remember being the translator for any Latinos that came into our life on the Upper East Side, whether that's like the nanny who speaks Spanish to me but speaks English to the kids she takes care of when we're playing at her house, to I remember once being the translator for the Coco Helado guy because a kid wanted to ask if a stain was going to come out. Being like, can you ask him if this will come out? If I want? And I'm like, oh, all right, I'm the fucking go-to. I'm the Spanish language translator here on the Upper East, on 94th and Park.
Oh,
If
man.
only you had charged for your services back then.
Listen.
I know. I never had a very capitalist mindset.
So your dad is Luis A. Miranda Jr.
Yeah.
He worked for Mayor Ed Koch. He's a founder and former president of the Hispanic Federation.
Yeah.
And you worked in his office, even wrote some jingles for political ads, I've learned.
I did. I didn't write jingles. It wasn't like I was writing I Like Ike or like things people sang. I was writing like the background music for commercials. So,
so you were
my
composing.
dad would say, hey, I have a Sharpton spot. I need like 60 seconds of jazz, smooth jazz under the political message is going to be on WBLS.
Because if it's Sharpton, you gotta have
You
it.
gotta have smooth jazz.
What
You
else
match the
would you
music
have?
to the station it's gonna be on. And remember writing like hopeful Latin music for like Elliot Spitzer's Spanish language spots.
Wow.
And that was like how I paid the rent. He was like, okay, you want a career in music? Okay, well, here's,
Word.
write these jingles. So that was what I did.
How do you feel like that background, especially like watching politics happen through your dad, like informs your work now?
It's funny. I'd never really considered it until I started writing this show. One, I'm allergic. Like you're never going to see me run for anything because I think if I was a butcher's son, I wouldn't want to be a butcher. It's just the thing. Like when your parents do it, you're like, ugh. It expresses itself mostly in that song room where it happens, where it's all sort of ambition and, so much happens in deals between people. Like the things we vote for are very rarely the things that matter.
Right.
We can vote to get the people in the room, but it's the conversation in the room and we're not a part of that. And don't kid yourselves and think that you are. You can put pressure on that conversation,
You can suggest
but you're not
things.
in that room. I didn't even realize I knew that until I knew it. It was funny. Governor Cuomo came to see the show and he said, I can tell you learned politics at like a kitchen table.
Oh, wow.
Like, because the stuff is it's not political in a capital P sense. It's just sort of like, well, this is how it works. I remember seeing these two guys once at a function my dad was at, congratulating themselves for like just totally fucking over a different guy, being like, oh my God, wait, did you hear what he said? And he didn't know we were going to fuck him today. And just being like, that's politics.
So it's just like Veep.
It's kind of like Veep. We in our hearts, it's West Wing. In reality, it's somewhere between West Wing and Veep.
Yes.
So we learned a little bit about Baby Lin. And now Baby Lin has a Baby Lin of his own.
He does.
He is adorable from what we can see. We've never seen his face,
Yeah,
but
I'll show y'all his face.
I imagine he's just surrounded by music all the time.
He loves the Kendrick. He bounces to the Kendrick.
Parenting done right.
I had a phase where I was just playing him when he was in the jumper. He's too big for the jumper. He's actually walking around now. But when he was in the jumper, I would just play all the loudest Busta Rhymes songs I could because, like, just, give me some more. Like, to see a baby dancing to Give Me Some More is really the most joyous thing you'll ever see in your life.
One of my favorite things is when you tweet things your son thinks you look like.
Oh, boy.
My favorite personally is Cat Williams.
Got a light-skinned friend, look like Cat Williams. Got a dark-skinned friend, look like
Precisely.
Cat Williams. Yeah, that started, it was, the Cat Williams thing started when Chris Jackson posted like one of the first pictures from Hamilton. One of his friends was like, Cat Williams in your play. I just thought it was so funny and so dead on in a weird way, especially when I really let the hair flow. There's something particularly pimpalicious about that.
Oh my God.
That I embrace it.
Pimpalicious.
I'm imagining Alexander Hamilton go, it's all pimping.
there are the thrilling moments where he sees you on TV and goes, Dada, and then he looks at Ray Romano and goes, Dada. And then he looks at the Lego man and goes, Dada. And you go, oh, this is not about me.
He sees you in everything. That's beautiful.
Yeah, it's very sweet.
So this question is a little, it's a little heavier.
Yeah.
But what will you teach him about women and white people?
Oh, gosh. That's a great question. There's two conversations I remember from being a kid that jump out at me, which I guess help me answer this question. I remember coming home and asking my family if we were white because it's often presented as binary, and Puerto Ricans are like literally the gumbo. I mean, we're gumbo. We're everything. And so they were like, no. I'm like, but I'm the same color as like half the kids in my school. And they were like, no, you're not. You're not. And here's why. And, I think from then on, it was like Puerto Rican flags out and
Nice.
like, you're going to learn. So that will be that conversation when that happens. I mean, I'm excited for my son because he's got incredible female role models, starting with my wife, who, was bored of being a scientist and became a lawyer. Like,
That's
you know what I mean?
That's my slay.
She is gonna, she should run for president. And my mother and just all the women in our lives. I grew up in a house with my sister and my mother and the woman who raised us, like just strong women like throughout. So that was. I'm not worried about that. I think he's going to be all right.
That's dope.
So this sort of touches on another question that we had. Coworker and friend of ours tweeted what I think is the best tweet on earth ever.
Okay.
No shade to you and your tweets. You're really, really good at Twitter. But she tweeted, behind every woke man is an exhausted feminist you need to thank. So good, right?
Great.
We would refer to you as woke.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Sleepy but woke.
Sleepy but woke. So who do we
Busy
thank?
man.
Who do we thank for your wokeness?
Oh gosh, you probably have to thank my mother for it. I mean, my mom's psychologist. My mom was a single mom for a while. My sister's actually my half sister. When my parents met, my sister was about 6, and my mom was diagnosed with thyroid cancer when she was like 19 years old.
Oh my God.
Went through that. She basically, that happened, and then she said, oh, I might die. Had an affair with one of her teachers.
Yes, Mama Olivia Life
Had a
girl.
baby and was like, well, I'm probably going to die, so I'm having this baby. And and she
Yes.
always says, this is such a crazy thing, but she says it was the year Roe v. Wade happened. So she says to my sister, honey, I chose you. I chose you and I had the right to choose you. 1973.
Yes, Mom.
And like literally working at Howard Johnson's, working like 6 waitress jobs, put herself through school, like finished her doctorate. That she met my dad when she was getting her degree. Just did all of the jobs so that we could, go to school and not worry about it. My parents are like one of the few sets of parents that are still together, and I think it's because they both work. Like they work in really different fields, and then they come home at the end of the day and are genuinely happy to see each other. Like, I don't think I could have dated an actor or a writer. Like, it's great to come home and we don't talk about like the stuff that you're dealing with all day.
Yeah, I want to backtrack a little bit. Was it weird to find out or hear that your mom had an affair?
Yeah, I didn't figure it out until way later.
So you figured it out versus being told?
No, I was told, but I mean, just like the thing of it. I mean, but it's mostly I remember when I heard about it, just thinking about how scared she must have been. Like, God, to be young and dealing with what could have been a death sentence and also a child on the way, and she was just so strong throughout it. I wasn't scandalized. I just had this surge of empathy of like. My life's been actually really calm compared to even what my sister went through. So it's, I'm, the beneficiary of all of that struggle.
I don't know how I would feel. First, I'd be like, oh my gosh, you have sex? Ugh. And then like by myself, I'd be like,
oh no,
yeah,
my
Mama,
parents
you do what you do.
make no secret of it. They're all over each other still.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Love
yeah.
it.
I remember once my dad he's going to kill me for telling the story.
Yes.
I was watching, there was a phase where VH1 was like rerunning American Bandstand, and I forget what was, I think Gloria Gaynor's I Will Survive came on. I was like, oh, I'm bored with the song. And I was about to change the channel. My dad came in from the other room and goes, don't you ever change the channel of that song. You were conceived to that song in 1979. I was like,
Oh my
You forced me to
gosh.
picture you having sex. To Gloria Gaynor's I Will Survive.
Wow.
That's a very interesting song
choice,
to put
Dad.
on in the boom boom room.
Yeah.
Huh.
First I was afraid. I was petrified.
I mean, you know.
Boom, boom. Room where it
Wow.
happens.
Okay.
Can we
tangent.
transition a little to Hamilton in the Heights, the bulk of your work?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Got so
Hamilton.
real with y'all.
No.
Yes. Okay, so Hamilton is very rare in that the bulk of the principal cast is all people of color except for Jonathan Groff, King
Yeah.
George.
Yeah, in the principals, yeah.
Yeah, which is amazing. That's so beautiful to see on Broadway.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Did you think at all about like gender bending in addition to like race bending the characters?
Not really. Well, you know, it's funny. The diversity of the characters really came out of the thing. By which I mean to say, I wasn't picturing the literal founding fathers even when I read the book for the first time.
Wow.
I was picturing Hercules Mulligan. That is the Busta Rhymesiest sounding name in the world. I will model Hercules Mulligan on
Yes.
Busta Rhymes. You know, and then when I was reading about Washington, all right, well, what does he sound like? And I was already like casting R&B artists and hip hop artists in my head. What I'm excited about is I'm not going to put restrictions on gender for when we do the high school productions and the regional productions. So there are going to be, mainly because I care so much about the school play. Like I'm here because I like found who I was in the school play, and girls try out to guys at like a 9-to-1 ratio.
Yeah.
Like it's a
There are gonna be
jillion girls and like
George
2
Washingtons.
boys and 1 boy you beg not to do basketball that year so he would be in the play. Like, come on, Troy. Like, please just be in the musical. I want the people who want to do the show to do the show. And so I'm looking forward to that.
I'm curious a little bit about how the hip hop and Broadway community work. The In the Heights producer Jeffrey Seller said, "I did Heights, which ran for 3 years, and if it didn't have that label of hip hop painted on it all the time, it would still be running because it was a beautiful, emotionally satisfying show." Do you worry about that? Like the label of hip hop?
Kind of driving people
I
away.
don't worry about it for my own purposes. I have no problem with people calling it a hip hop musical, but I know how much hip hop contains. Like hip hop has enough room for melody and has enough room for emotional richness, and there's so many different like hip hop culture contains so many multitudes that I know that means a lot of great things. But there also is a whole section of the world for whom hip hop froze in their heads around 1983, and they think it's a drum machine and like talking.
Yeah.
Like literally, they're like, no, I like melody, so I don't like hip hop.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, that's a good chunk of the Broadway demographic. Conversely, that's also true, I think, of hip hop heads who do not fuck with theater music at all, because there's nothing in there. There's not a dropped beat. There's nothing that speaks to what they like. But what I like about both of them is that they tell stories, and they use music in a way to tell stories in a way. So I'm always kind of threading that needle in my work of being like, it's okay, leave your baggage at the door. It's okay, leave your baggage at the door, to sort of both groups and getting them in the room together. There's a lot of amazing storytelling in hip hop, and there's a lot of amazing music in theater music. And, you know, we know that the Broadway show can be Rent, and the Broadway show can be Bringing the Noise, Bringing the Funk, and the Broadway show can be like, it can be a lot of different things, just like hip hop can be a lot of different things. Yeah, I mean, labels can be a problem for a ticket going public.
Yeah.
Have you heard of any accounts of someone being like, you know, before this, I didn't listen to hip hop, and now I'm like listening to
Busta Rhymes.
right, like Kendrick
All
or
the
like
time.
really?
Yeah, all the time. And people ask me for primers of like, all right, I love Hamilton, so what hip hop should I listen to? Which makes me really happy.
right.
What do you tell
It's
them?
like the emails. It's like the emails you get. Am I allowed to say Ashley?
So what do you recommend to those folks?
I recommend a diet of lots of different things. Well, the fun thing was it really first started happening with Broadway composers, like composers who liked Heights. So like I sent Sondheim like an Asa Brock track, and I was like, "What do you
Sorry,
think of that?"
can we tell this story?
Right?
I was like,
Talk to me.
You would like this song. It's called No Regrets by Asa Brock, and it's a great hip hop tune. He was like, oh, is more of his stuff like...
So you liked it?
She never spoken much throughout the spanning of her life until the day she leaned forward, grinned and pulled the nurse aside, and she said, look, I've never had a dream in my life, because a dream is what you want to do but still haven't pursued. I knew what I wanted and did it till it was done, so I've been the dream that I wanted to be since day one. Well, the nurse jumped back. She never heard
That's part of the gig is you then become a bit of a translator. There's also the one you get where it's like, I hate rap, but I love this. And I always have to tell them that's not a compliment.
Yes.
Which is an awkward stage door
Yeah.
interaction. I go, that's not a compliment to me. I go, you're missing out.
That's just like those dudes. I don't know if it's just like a me thing, but when like a dude is hitting on you, black men, I'll say, I've only heard this from black men. They're like, you know what? You're not like other black women. And I'm like, thank you. That's
Hard
not.
pass.
Yeah.
Hard pass.
So offensive. So offensive. So what is it about those particular rappers that like make them good starter meals for people who are just getting into hip hop?
I think it's because the storytelling is just undeniable. Like whether you're even familiar with the terms Nas is using, which like most folks are, like white folks just aren't. Like, they're like, I don't know what a burner is. I don't know what you're saying.
What does catch a body mean?
I literally don't know. Exactly. Damn, is this Trust Falls? Because I did those in theater camp. Spot already? Ready. Falling away. But yeah, I mean, the storytelling of like the second verse of Rosa Parks or the storytelling, the art of storytelling part 1.
That song makes me cry. Oh my gosh. I don't even know why. It just does.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like that. Oh my God. Yeah, no, Outkast is... I think they're like the last ones who have not seen Hamilton. Like most of the ones on my list have like been crossed off, and I am a wreck. I'm a wreck when they come because it's such a love letter to them. And I find myself
You said it's a
realizing
love letter to Outkast?
it's a love letter to hip hop. The whole show, there's so many hip hop references in my lyrics to the show that like I'll find myself doing the cadence if I know a rap. Like when Eminem was there, I was like hitting those syllables so hard. Past patiently waiting, smashing every expectation, every action's an act of creation. I'm laughing in the face of casualties of sorrow. For the first time, I'm thinking past tomorrow. And I am not throwing away my shot. I am not throwing away my shot. I always look towards the ones where like the storytelling is undeniable. Like seen a man die, Scarface. He greets his father with his hands high.
Yes, it's such a good Scarface.
Beautiful song.
That was great.
It was wonderful. Can we break for a refill?
Ooh, yes, Tracy.
I mean, I'm saying. Support for Another Round comes from August, a new kind of consulting company that's starting a revolution in the way organizations work, from helping leaders embrace change to building work cultures where people act like people and not like business robots. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Which brings us to a little thing we like to call the corporate jargon drinking game. The rules are simple. I will present Fairhaven with a particularly stupid piece of office jargon, and she will have to guess what it means. If she loses, she drinks. The piece of dumb office jargon that you have to decode is double click.
What?
Double click.
What?
What does it mean?
Maybe let's open it up to the possibilities like one would open an app.
Okay.
Or a computer program.
Okay. You know what? That's close. I will give this one to you.
What is the
because you
actual
were on the
thing?
right track. Is to open up the full discussion or project on something that you are hoping to breeze over. Yeah.
Don't have to drink though.
Honestly, I think you still should.
I do feel like you were generous.
All right. Yeah, you're welcome. You're
Okay.
welcome.
Okay.
If you're passionate about revolutionizing the way companies operate and love to geek out about things like the future of work and what makes teams awesome, get in touch with August, a consulting firm for the 21st century. Learn more at aug.co/anotherround. That's aug.co/anotherround. Freestyling, how? How does anybody even, how is that a thing that humans can do? What part
Like
of
the
your
show
brain
is
like
very, very dense. It's something like it's
Lots of
rewarded by
words.
repeated listening because
Yes.
you're always hearing something new.
You know, David, who plays Jefferson, is one of the best technical rappers alive. I mean, just go listen to clipping and go I kind of knew I could throw anything at him, and I started throwing crazier and crazier stuff at him just to see if he could do it.
I can tell.
Hence guns and ships. Literally, the last line I added was the line, I mean, you got to put some thought into the letter, but the sooner the better to get your right hand man back. Like,
Yeah,
I
that's
was
crazy.
Originally,
That
that
was
was
like 2
just like
seconds.
everyone going, get your right hand man back. Get your right hand. I was like, we could fit another line for David in here. I could write one more.
No one has my resilience or matches my practical tactical brilliance. You want to fight for your land back? I need my right hand man back. Yeah, get your right hand man back. You know you gotta get your right hand man back. I mean you gotta put some thought into the letter, but the sooner the better to get your right hand man back.
Alexander Hamilton.
David and I freestyle backstage during a room where it happens on the meanwhile section when they're going, meanwhile.
Madison is grappling with the fact that not every issue can be settled by committee.
Oh my God.
David and I happen to be stage left together, and we always go freestyle, and one of us will do a setup line, and one of us will knock him out, and then he goes out for his entrance.
Are you fucking kidding me?
ridiculous.
That's like a bit of our backstage traffic.
Can you guys have less talent, please? Save some
like,
for the
give
rest
us
of
some.
us.
It keeps us awake.
What have you learned about your brain through freestyling?
It really is like a filter. It's not like you're suddenly super facile with words. It's like you're channeling the part of your brain that deals with language through some kind of filter that finds the words that rhyme and makes them rhyme at the end. And that's the way I think of it. When I hear the suggestion, I think, okay, I've got the last line and now I have to like keep it from myself because I've got the funny line in my head and I'm just going to lead up to it. And I try to work backwards. And that took a long time to get right.
Let's talk a little bit about your generosity.
Hey.
You're so nice.
Oh, thanks. You are.
Oh, thanks.
So you give us this incredible work of art. You also do the ham for hams all the time. You interact with everyone on Twitter. Like, how do you do it all?
I don't know.
Where
I'm
do you
so
find
sleepy.
the energy? Right.
Well, the ham for hams were really, they're part generosity, but they're also part selfishness and like karma guarding. When we did our first lotto on Broadway, 700 people showed up and it was the dead of summer. And it was like, oh, we cannot send 680 people into the streets of New York mad that they didn't win. Like, that's bad for our city. And it's bad for America.
Personal safety.
And bad for personal safety. So I got up there spontaneously the first day. And then Tommy Kail was like, we should do that every day. We're in previews. Like, we're in here. We got a lot of talented people here. Let's just do like a little something for the people outside who are trying to get a ticket. And then that became the Ham for Ham show, and it kind of got bigger and kind of got crazier. Now that it's digital, we're making these videos. But it really came out of the fact that like, we can't give everyone tickets to the show. And so what can we give you that is sort of a token that you can't get anywhere else? So it really sort of came out of that. Like, all right, you're in New York and you like tried out the lotto. You didn't get to see the show, but you saw Kelly O'Hara rapping LL Cool J, or you saw, a gender flipped version of one of the songs in the show. Theater's exclusive, and it sucks that it's exclusive, but it's also magic because it's these people in this room experiencing this thing. Like, I don't know a way around that that isn't translating it to video or like that's a form of translation. It's not the same thing. So it's about, addressing that and acknowledging that while still protecting the thing inside the building.
That's beautiful. So many questions we didn't have time for, but that's cool because now comes the fun part. Pew, pew, pew. Yes, I'm so glad I don't have to awkwardly explain why this segment is called Pew, pew, pew.
I like pew, pew, pew.
If this is your first time listening to the show, first of all, we forgive you. Second of all, this is our rapid fire question segment.
So a lot of famous people have come to your show. One of them is one Kanye West. We saw the picture. Tell us everything.
Oh, boy.
What was it like?
He was in the second row. Normally when musicians come to the show, it's usually through Atlantic. Like, we're trying to get them, we're making this mixtape where we've got, oh, you guys aren't ready for this mixtape.
Ooh, tell us about the mixtape.
I can't tell you too much about the mixtape, but I can tell you that we are getting like artists to do like inspired buys where we're like chopping up songs from Hamilton and then they write their own verses on top.
Oh, shit.
I think I can tell you Common dropped 2 verses for us.
All
Black
right,
Thought
all
is doing
right,
like
okay.
crazy.
I'm so in love with him as well. Don't tell Andre 3000, but I'm also in love with Black Thought.
Yeah, so like that's really exciting. So anyway, I say that to say that usually I know when an artist is coming, but Kanye kind of just showed up.
What?
And it was the day I think Life of Pablo was due, and he was in the second row with Kim.
Could you
And
see him?
He was in the second row with Kim.
I mean, I don't know, like the light situation. That's
no,
crazy.
I can see all the way to, I can see about 15 rows back.
Oh my gosh.
There he was, and I had a moment really, there's a moment where we go, is it a question of if, Burr, which one? And I just, basically, I fuck whoever's in the first 2 rows. And I wink at them and I'm just like, hey. hey, like that's my little like fun times as Hamilton. Last time he's single before he meets Eliza.
Seductive Hamilton.
Hey. I just winked the hell out of Kanye. Because he was right in my blast zone. And so, and he was like, he kind of gave me he gave me the like through the wire smile. It was very cute.
Oh my God.
And then, I have to tell you, they came backstage at intermission. And so at intermission, I came downstairs and said, this whole show's about you. It's all about you. And Washington's Jay-Z. And you started writing for Jay-Z before you struck out on your own. Like, it's all about you.
Yeah.
Oh
and then
gosh.
Kim was like, and the 3 sisters.
Yo!
That is beautiful.
Yeah. And I was like, yes, and the 3 sisters. It's all about you. And he was like, he like totally got it. He was really sweet.
Do you ever have a Kanye moment where you're like, I wish there was another me so I could watch this show?
Well, I mean, I kind of do. That's the thing. Like, I have an alternate, Javier Munoz, who does the show on Sundays, and he
He's so
just
good.
like me, and
He's really, really
incredible
good.
in the show. When Obama first saw the show, he saw Javi because it was our 6th preview. It was my first time seeing the show, which is a crazy way to see your show for the first time with like the president, and that was a whole thing.
Talk to us about that.
Oh my gosh, what does the president smell like?
The president smells like success,
Okay.
and
I believe
Sorry.
it.
he
I have
smells
one?
like
Tracy's
bold
having a
pragmatism. So
That's the most satisfying answer we've ever gotten to that question. Everybody else is like, "Oh, he didn't smell like anything." I'm like, "That's a lie."
Yeah.
How could he
definitely
not?
smells
no, I'm
like
very
something.
smell aware. I'm right with you. I'm right with you.
All right, I'm really excited to ask this question. I feel like the would you rather's are Heaven's least favorite part.
That's not true.
Oh, good.
I just, they always throw me off. That's all I'm saying.
You had a very visceral reaction to this
I
question
worry about
earlier.
your brain sometimes. That's all I'm saying.
Thanks. Would you rather have a nose that pulsates like a human heart, or have skin that fizzes up like Alka-Seltzer when in the water or when water hits it? Sweat included. So like if you start sweating, it's
Does
just
the
like,
nose do that when in contact with water, or that's just a separate
it's just
thing?
like the nose is just always like boom,
I
boom,
feel like
boom,
I
boom,
already
boom,
have
boom.
that, so I'll take that over the. I'll take that over the alternative that the evil you know is better than the evil you don't.
I have not seen your nose pulsate once since we've been here.
Oh well, thank you. It flares and it's bigger in my mind than everyone else's because in puberty it was a few years ahead of the rest of my face.
Right.
So.
Speaking of puberty,
Great segue.
you tweet sometimes about the girls you had crushes on in high school. What was your game like back then, and what's like the worst way you've been curved by a girl?
Oh man, I mean, I kind of had a very prolific 7th grade.
Okay,
Like I had like 6 girlfriends in 7th grade.
All right.
And then like dry spell until the end of high school. I don't know what my 13-year-old game was like. I was wearing a lot of I was wearing cross colors. Mm-hmm. I was wearing like denim shirts.
All right,
Yes,
all right.
denim
And that was like when Gap was wearing like the colored denim jeans. I was like wearing red denim jeans.
Oh man.
To keep up with cross colors, no
Of
doubt.
course.
Okay, I'll tell you the most embarrassing one is I wrote a whole movie just to have a kissing scene with this one girl.
I'm listening.
It's actually listed on IMDb because IMDb was less strict about its what it could be on IMDb, and so I was 16 years old, and we made like this movie, and I was like, "There's a kissing scene, and it's very tastefully done. Would you be in my movie?" And she said yes, but was not even and we did the kissing scene, and it's the worst. It's the worst.
Oh,
It's the
no.
worst. It's the worst.
Oh no.
Why was it the
scene.
worst?
No, I just I can't watch it. Like just like everything that led up to it. I remember how much I was sweating that day. Like
Oh.
can't even.
Where can we find this
You
movie?
cannot find it anywhere. It has been destroyed. But she was never interested in me. Like that's my Gatsby. Like that's my I could win 3 Pulitzers and like Amanda's never gonna like me.
Never gonna
like
get
that.
Daisy.
Same.
Never gonna get Daisy.
Same. Too real. Let's. Okay. What is Drunk Lin like?
Drunk Lynn is surprisingly alarmingly lucid, like till the last minute. Like I will still be like, yeah, well, that's why, that's why socialism in practice never really, and then I will pass out. Like I will be lucid and making sense until the moment I am asleep.
That's like me, honestly. It's dangerous.
I love you both, but I feel like those are the most irritating types of drunks.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like
you'll
when
be
I'm
having a
drunk, I'm just
conversation.
like, I love you guys so much. Oh my god. And they're just like, yeah, thanks.
Yeah, thanks.
Like, can you be as messy as me, please?
They're like, I'm lit AF.
Right. Don't believe you. You need more
Children say.
As the children say.
This has been incredible.
It's been so. Twitter has been like begging for this for so long.
We made it happen.
It was
So
time.
thank you on behalf of Twitter and
Thank
on
you.
behalf
Thank
of
you for having me.
ourselves.
So where can people find your work? And for people who are like the majority of our audience who probably will not see your show.
Well, they will not see my show this year.
Right. Yeah,
That's the thing. That's the thing I kind of try to counsel is like the fact that it's so hard to get a ticket means we're going to run a really long time.
Word.
Like that
You're right.
that means like, all right, you might not see it in the first year. You might not see the original cast, but we got 2 tour companies happening in like record time. We're like casting as fast as we can for that.
Word.
Try to make them as good as the original company. And like we're just doing our best to like get it out into the world as possible. I'm going to make the school productions happen fast. Usually those don't happen for like 20 years. I'm going to try to get that to happen in the next 5 years.
Dope.
Like I'm trying to get folks to see it as soon as they can.
So for people who will not be able to experience it in New York
yeah.
like right now.
at its current iteration,
Right.
what is the best way to experience the show?
Cast album.
Okay.
The cast album has all the songs in the show, except for it has like there's one moment that I'm saving for you for the theater between Dear Theodosia and Nonstop. That's just like the one moment. And then also we have a book that has the complete libretto and also these amazing essays by Jeremy McCarter. It's my lyrics, and then I did sort of these annotations of all of the lyrics. So I go into these crazy sidebars, and because Genius.com exists, it's not just, this is a Mobb Deep sample, this is a Biggie sample.
Right.
It's like, I was, half asleep with my dog. Like, I had to... Genius.com actually forced me to be more personal because I had to make the annotation something you couldn't get anywhere else. So that book will be out in April, and it's a great companion piece to the cast album. It has
Happy
all these
birthday to
amazing,
me.
beautiful pictures.
And
from
where
the-
can people find you on social media?
They can find me on the Twitter. Often, too often.
I'm a fan of your prolific Twitter.
Yeah, it's bad. But you know what? I think of it as the opposing muscle group of writing a musical. Hamilton took me 7 years to write. So,
That's wild.
like, it's all right that the runoff is like me tweeting, like, Tracy, the robots are taking over.
Which is a whole nother conversation.
Like, I think it's okay to have, like, that's another creative outlet.
So what is your Twitter?
Oh, Lin_Manuel.
Yes. All right, people, check
Blue
it
check
out.
mark, except no substitute.
Hey.
In the rarefied era, the verified.
Receipts
Yo,
up front.
thank you so much for stopping
Yes.
by.
Thank you for having me.
Thank
I'm
you.
In your
glad to share.
busy ass fucking schedule.
Right. Should you want to come back to talk about Outcast or also everything included as well?
Okay.
Just, open invitation.
Outcast or everything.
Yeah.
And the whole world.
Tracy,
What?
look at where we are.
Oh my gosh.
Look at where we started.
Look around at how lucky we are to be alive right now. Look around, look around.
I died 20 minutes ago, honestly. So I'm buying this round from On Heaven's Cloud.
Who are you buying around for?
I'm buying around for Brussels sprouts.
I'm listening.
There are a ton of foods and I'm like, I don't like those, even though I've never had them.
Yes.
Spinach was one. Fast forward to today, I love spinach.
Interesting.
And as of like a few months ago, I was like, maybe it's like a year ago. I actually remember where I was when this happened.
Yeah.
Cynthia Gordy, my friend Cynthia, gave me
Hey,
my
girl.
first Brussels sprout. Hey, girl, hey. And I was like, oh my God, why have I been denying myself?
Honestly, same.
They are so good. And they're just good.
I think it's because in every like childhood cartoon, that was like the example of foods
That was the
kids
food,
don't want to eat.
yeah.
So I was like, oh, I trust all these kids. They know what's
I'm not
up.
gonna eat this stuff. This gross. I went to a restaurant called Surfish. to get brunch with our dear friend Zakoto and Gene Demby, who was in town. And Cole was like, we're getting Brussels sprouts. And I was like, all right, fine. And then like she just like very silently slid a Brussels sprout onto my plate. And she was like, how this Brussels sprout? It was the best thing I've eaten in like the last like 5 months probably. And it was just like, it wasn't like covered in like seasoning or anything. It wasn't like sauteed with like garlic and bacon.
What?
It wasn't like this weird little broth thing stuff. I'm not doing it justice. I want to go right now and get more of these Brussels sprouts.
Interesting.
So shout out to Brussels sprouts. That's all. I just really like Brussels sprouts.
Eat your veggies.
Eat your Brussels sprouts. Who are you buying around for, Hev?
I'm buying around for the Dormtainment dudes.
I love them. They cute.
So, yes. So I was randomly on Comedy Central's website, and they have like these like web series things that I had never heard of. But one of them, I was like, wait, who are these 6 black guys?
Right. Who are always wearing tight-fitting tank tops. I like this. I'm into them.
But they have a web series on Comedy Central called 6 Guys, 1 Car.
I love it.
And it's like they're broke dudes. They're like on the show they play YouTube personalities or like a group of dudes with a YouTube channel, which they are in real life. If you don't know about Dormtainment, peep them. You've probably already seen like a GIF of theirs on the internet. At the very least.
The one that I guarantee that you've seen is one of like a white girl crying in the foreground. And in the background is a black dude dancing and like putting up fake layups and shit. It's beautiful.
Like celebrating in the back. I guarantee you've seen some of their work. They've done like The Art of the Roast. The Invisible Girl Dancing on the 6 Guys. Have you seen that?
Yes,
So
I've seen
funny.
that one. Hilarious.
Anyway, so on the show, they basically play like trumped up versions of themselves. So they have this like YouTube nemesis named Larry, who they're always in competition with. They like live in LA and they're just trying to make it. They're like, oh, why is our manager so shitty? And like that sounds kind of like just like a annoying like, you know, teens in the web and YouTube.
Right.
It sounds not good, but I guarantee you I've laughed out loud several times. Also, they're very cute.
Like all of them are fine.
Each one of them brings something to the table.
How is everybody in your crew fine? That never happens with a group of dudes.
Yeah, especially 6 of them.
Right.
They actually do make a good number of jokes about how 6 is an unwieldy number of people to have do anything. But yeah, it's such a fun series. And I'm like, why isn't this a full show? Comedy Central, you fucking up.
Yeah.
They're like 5-minute episodes. Like, I don't get why this is happening.
I'm gonna check it out.
And I hope someone gives them a bigger show than this little web series.
Yeah, shout out to them. Dormtainment and Brussels sprouts. There's your weekend.
You know what else falls into the Brussels sprouts category
What's
of
that?
food that you should eat but doesn't seem good?
What?
Cauliflower. I was like, why would I want this white ass broccoli? What the fuck is this? And then I fucked up. I've been fucking up for years.
I love cauliflower.
Cauliflower is bomb.
There's so much you can do with it.
And when it's sauteed right, listen.
Ooh, and my favorite thing is when like people prepare cauliflower like chicken, like
Yes.
buffalo cauliflower. Listen, first I was like, don't you dare pass something off as chicken that's not chicken.
Right.
But
It's not pasta. It's a whole other thing.
yes, I like it's like meaty and like I was like, you know what? If I was a vegetarian, I could do this and I would miss chicken like 2% less.
Okay.
I would still miss chicken, but
Eat your veggies, y'all.
yes, eat all of them. Nom 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 nom. We did it!
Yo.
I literally cannot believe that this just happened.
Thank you so much to Lin Manuel for stopping by in your very, very busy schedule. As always, we want to give a shout out to the Pod Squad.
Pod Squad. Oh, we're in sync. This podcast is produced by Eleanor Kagan with editorial oversight from Jenna Weiss Berman, aka our Pod Moms. Shout out to Julia Furlan and Meg Kramer for all of the wonderful, wonderful production help. Huge thanks to Jeremy Briggs and Jesse McLaren for making the Lin Manuel videos that will last forever and ever. When I have kids and grandkids, the first thing that they're going to see. Don't ask me about no Barney. Don't ask me about no Peppa Pig, whoever that is. Thanks to Paul Ruest at Argo Studios. Thanks to our in-house musician, perfect people, Miss Jean Gray and Mr. Don Will. You can follow Jean Gray at Jean Greasy on Twitter, and you can follow Don Will at DONWILL. Thanks to heaven, we did it. I can't believe we did it.
Thank you, Tracy.
You're welcome, girl. Thank you for being my friend.
What a time to be alive.
I know.
Also, be sure to check out our other BuzzFeed podcasts, The Tell Show and Internet Explorer.
I know a lot of people who have huge crushes on Isaac Fitzgerald. If you're one of these people, you should definitely be listening to him overshare on The Tell Show. To sign up for the newsletter, go to BuzzFeed.com/anotherround/newsletter, and then you can see all of our beautiful, beautiful faces. Hit us on the buzz, y'all. Hit us on the buzz.
Hey.
Hit us on the buzz.
You can find us on Twitter and Facebook at Another Round. You can email us at anotherround@buzzfeed.com. And if you like the show, which rate us on iTunes, leave a review, tell a friend, tell your mom.
Drink some water, take your meds, call your mom, eat some veggies. Perhaps start with Brussels sprouts. Maybe mash up some cauliflower. Put a little butter in it, you know what I'm saying? Give it the potato treatment.
Ooh.
It's good. It's real, real good. See y'all next week. Bye.
If we recover.
He let me hug him, and I was like, oh.
Love smells like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Help me understand
what it means to be in LOVE
once again.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.